Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander. Welcome back to the basement for season 2, episode 3 of the series Outlander, streaming now on Starz and Netflix. And I'm going to call this season the season of gowns because Claire's wardrobe, OMG, OMG, and I don't care what you say, there's no way she got that many outfits in 3 months' time. You try making that gown with a sewing machine even and an already made pattern in any sort of reasonably short time. Fabric, discovering, making from scratch, dyeing, drying, stretching. Oh my God. But it's fabulous and I love it and I'm here for it. So the game's afoot, you all. There is lots of masterminding and politicking and maneuvering of people and places in this episode with the Minister of Finance and the King. It was funny though. Okay, so I have to edit these reactions into a reasonable amount of time, being very, very aware of copyright law and copyright infringement. So sometimes things get cut that maybe aren't that big of a reaction or don't really fit in with the story. I try to provide context to my reactions. So it's a delicate balance, it is. But I did have a reaction to Bonnie Prince Charlie. Kip, I noticed it the second time when he was saying,
"Mark me."
Mark my words. And I was like, this guy likes to mark his words. And apparently that is a thing. I guess that wasn't the only 2 times he says it in this show, as some of you have lovingly pointed out. And apparently it's a drinking game, which I wish I would have known because I love a good drinking game. And if it wasn't a Tuesday night, I'd play that drinking game right now. But right now I got my water because that's the healthier choice, especially midweek. But maybe next episode. Next episode, if I know Bonnie Prince Charlie's in it, I'll have some whiskey on standby. So I'm eager to get started, and I'm sure you are too. So thank you so much for joining me, especially if you've hit subscribe. Thank you. And if you haven't already, now's a good time to do it because we have so many more episodes of Outlander to go through, and I want you there with me on this adventure. So water's ready. Cozy blanket is ready. Thanks again for being with me, and let's get to it.
To Maison Elise, and then another night of drink.
Look at that waistcoat.
And you had more blather with that loon of a prince.
The fact that they are speaking so freely in front of the servants distresses me because I trust no one, so I'm not trusting the servants.
Christ. I don't believe it. He's gone. Sorry.
Oh no. So I do find it fascinating that they have also dressed Jamie in more of the French fashion than him just keeping his Scottish attire.
I can't marry a Frenchman.
Is Mary end up being Frank's great grandmother, or
You don't know about
I should
Frenchmen.
say, oh,
Ow.
she doesn't become his great grandmother, does she? Like Mary Jack instead of Alex?
Your husband's so gentle and so kind. I mean, I know he doesn't trouble you in that way. My maid said that a Frenchman's thing, they put it right between a lady's legs. I mean, right up inside her.
Well, it's not just the Frenchman.
But a man like your husband, surely he'd never dream of forcing his wife to endure something like that.
Does Mary know Claire's pregnant?
Men don't do things like that where I come from.
And where is that? The moon?
Seaford, in Sussex.
Your beloved husband got his start in 1746 when Jonathan Wolverton Randall
married Miss Mary Hawkins.
So how does she marry Jack Randall?
I was faced with the terrible knowledge that Frank's very existence now depended on Jack, living for at least another year.
But we don't want Jack with Mary. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
I gave this to Suzette to mend.
Who was Suzette with?
Did I not ask you to mend? Did you need something, milady?
Her dog. She's just gonna do it herself.
Since when did you become such a priggish goat when it comes to frolicking between the sheets?
You can mind your own bloody business. And remember who runs this house.
Ooh, he struck a nerve. Poked, poked.
I'm sorry, that was unforgivably rude. It's not myself.
Tell him he is your most trusted person in this whole country.
Jack Randall is alive.
What? I saw him lying dead with my own eyes. You have not told Jamie? Good.
Is it?
Aye. You're keeping a secret to save his life. And if it keeps the lad from running off in a blind fury only to meet his maker at the end of a rope, I'll be keeping that secret with you.
I don't think it's gonna go well. At all.
I don't suppose you've ever thought of birth control.
Control?
She just spoke a completely different language to him.
The game is yours. Again. You know, James, if you desire my help, it would not be a bad idea to lose a game once in a while.
I respect you too much to allow such a cheap victory.
I give you permission to respect me, yes. You want to discourage Prince Charles from mounting a rebellion?
Scotland and our people cannot bear another failed rebellion. We must not invade until we're certain we have the resources and finances to win.
This is gonna backfire, isn't it?
But if you're to meet with Charles unofficially, in a place that values discretion above all,
Which would be?
Maison Elise.
I have not been there in months.
I had a feeling he was familiar with it. Now, Jamie, I may have not have said specifically outright, tell him you can't do it. Tell him we can't launch this, because that's going to say, what's to stop the minister from saying, this dude here told me not to fund you. I would have been a little bit more stealthy. It is now. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. They're wearing similar colors.
Aconitum napellus. I know this is poison. I'm not aware of any medicinal uses for monkshood. Yet you sell it in your shop.
To anyone.
The effect is most immediate. The stomach seeks to purge itself and well, you get the idea.
Then why does he have it just on the shelf, nilly-milly? This monkshood's gonna come back, isn't it?
I wonder if you have ever considered putting your medical talents to use.
What is l'Hôpital des Anges?
A charity hospital down near the cathedral.
I don't know if I would want to be pregnant back in a time where illnesses were illnesses. Even if you are inoculated against a lot of the big ones.
This is where you rushed home and hurried me along with you.
Look at that blue. The Papa Blue.
À vos médecins, j'imagine.
Ou ce qui s'en rapproche le plus. Ils donnent de leur temps car la médecine les fascine. Monsieur l'ouvrier est boucher de profession.
They are interested in the medical arts. Interested.
Il sélectionne dans son propre établissement. Il est aussi notre romancien.
Terrifying. Oh my God, terrifying. And a dog.
Un chien. I have some medical skills I thought might be useful here.
Indeed. Ma sœur, pouvez-vous trouver quelque chose à faire à Milady?
She's gonna make her feed him tea all day. Or collect bedpans. Or I should say bedpans.
I suspected the cause straight away, but I took a moment to recall the 18th century term for diabetes.
Ooh.
I have never seen a woman who knew the science of urinoscopy. Perhaps you could help Sister Angelique dress the wounds of a young boy with scrofula.
Scrofula. Do we want to know what scrofula is? Meanwhile.
His Majesty.
Which is why I would never approach His Majesty King Louis with empty promises or empty pockets.
This is gonna go wrong.
I have already secured the vast majority of funds for our cause.
From who?
Funds nearly sufficient to finance our entire campaign. I have been in secret negotiations with several wealthy and highly influential members of the British aristocracy. Mark me. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see the look of relief and shock upon your face, James.
Those are the very words, Your Highness.
I must ask as to the role you see for my king.
Yeah, yes, please.
I offer France an alliance with Britain in the aftermath of victory. Close the gap between what I have and what I need, and I will give you the world.
After you've all taken what you wanted of the world.
Let us celebrate.
Is what he's thinking right now. Oh, she's been out for a while. He didn't leave a note. I am out with Myrta.
Where have you been? Certainly not at Madame Louise's for tea.
Oops. Oops.
What's the matter? I thought you'd be happy for me.
Did you know?
Oh, James. What is wrong?
You're with child, for one.
I can see his concern.
It has been a long time since I have felt useful. I need to feel a sense of accomplishment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't. I know what you're going to say.
What I want when I come home with a problem is to be able to turn to my wife for help.
So this is a fascinating little turn.
I will try and help you in any way that I can.
So I believed. So I came home looking for you.
Dude, one night. It was one night.
Instead, you were out indulging yourself with poultices and potions.
One night. I have a thought for later. He went back. He went back. Oh, why there of all places?
Et toi? Come on.
So how well does Jamie know the streets of Paris? Excellently well.
But Madame Elise likely no appreciate having a thief for a servant boy.
No, Madame Elise, no. I don't do it every night. Just when we are very busy and like...
I think that's every night.
But I am interested in you.
Oh, I would not phrase it that way, Pumpkin.
No.
I don't want that either.
A job? Doing what?
Exactly what you have been doing.
From whom? Oh!
Fashion Valley.
What are you doing in my house?
Oh, Jamie, please tell me this is not your plan.
Madame, vous avez de très très beaux seins.
You just said the same thing to Suzette.
The ladies at Maison Elise were always very generous when I give them compliments.
So was Suzette. She gave him the chicken leg.
Yeah.
Is this Jamie's idea of giving Claire a task to bring her meaning? I hope not.
His name's Fergus. Well, actually, it's Claudel, but we agreed that was not very manly.
Yeah, I was thinking Fergus was not a very French name.
Hired him.
Is he going to be an eavesdropper?
So Fergus steals letters and...
Aye. We copy them, then.
It's a plan. Sounds risky, but it's a plan.
Good night.
Where are you going?
Our house settled into a routine that kept us all busy.
I don't know if I like have a child being put in danger. Maybe because I'm seeing Guy Fawkes from Les Miserables dead on top of the battlements.
Seal had been removed at least 3 times before I took it off myself.
Yeah, we're not the only ones interested in the Stuart correspondence.
Ah.
What the devil is this?
Music.
It's music, you dolt.
Bouton, à la bouche, bouton.
Oh, the dog can sip something.
Bravo, tu as trouvé, bouton.
While the tiny entrance wound had healed cleanly, the deeper wound had festered and formed a pocket of pus around the intrusion. Cela va faire mal, mais vous vous sentirez ensuite beaucoup mieux.
Give the man something that I did too. Ew! That's quite a splinter. What is that?
What are you doing here?
Sew the man up. You've got an open wound.
Oh, you did see Mother Hildegard kids' music.
Can you show me what you are doing is neither illegal nor dangerous?
Nope, not at all.
I have seen some things reminiscent of this. An old German friend of mine, Herr Bach.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
I'm surprised you have heard of him.
2 flats means you take every second letter beginning at the start of the section. 3 sharps means you take every third letter beginning at the end.
Oh, that's time consuming.
40,000 may not fund the war, but it may be enough to convince Duvernay and the king that the Jacobites have a chance.
Will it also convince Jamie that the Jacobites might have a chance?
We figured it out.
I don't think it's that simple.
This calls for a celebration.
I don't think it's that simple. Get the letter back to where it's supposed to be.
If Jamie sits down with him and his secretary, you know what will happen.
You'll find out Black Jack Randall is still alive.
You need to tell him, and you need to tell him now.
While he's celebrating.
To my wife, who's always there when I need her. What is it, Sassenach?
I just love seeing you so happy.
He sniffed that one out. He should. More players on the field, posturing, standing. Oh, it's so stress-inducing. So stress-inducing. So, the little thought that I had, the note I had, which was Jamie being confronted with a 20th century woman who has a drive to have meaning beyond the household. Claire needs to feel accomplished. And I was realizing that the concept of a woman being accomplished outside the nuclear family was very rare and something he probably wasn't used to. So on the one hand, you want to go, dude, James, let her have something to fulfill her days. But on the other hand, I realized that's a foreign concept. He will need to be introduced to it. So it's this weird little intrigued. But he's going to have to get over it. this whole political machinations and the fact that this was okay. So this was episode 3. When do they get back to Scotland, and when does Claire go back through the stones? Because she's starting to show here, but she wasn't showing at the beginning of the episode. So it's making me tense. I don't know if it was necessarily a good thing to show us that this whole plan fails and she has to be sent back, because now I'm not, I guess the the tension is somewhat gone, but I'm still tense because there's lots of things going on. We've got Jamie trying to subvert the rebellion. Claire's now trying to do her hospital thing. One of my lights ran out of batteries. So I'll make this quick. So yeah, they've got court to deal with, biding time to whenever they can go back to Scotland, I guess. Baby's coming. And then we've still got the Count of Saint Germain floating around there somewhere. It's a lot to keep track of. Way more to, and then, okay. So Jonathan Randall is somehow going to cross paths with little Mary Hawkins and marry her. What has produced that arrangement? So does Frank come to France then? Where Mary is? Okay. Well, there we go. Lots of food for thought. And thank you so much for being here with me for this episode. And I do hope that you join me for the next one, as well as True Blood's going on, Deadwood's going on, and I will be starting Umbrella Academy season 3 next week. I know, it's very wide and reaching. Oh, and Miss Marvel ends soon too as well. So I would love you there for those adventures. So please hit subscribe. And if you have already, again, I thank you so very much. Hit like. Tell me how your day's been. Have you been enjoying your day? Summer's been lovely. I hope you've had a chance to rest. Did you eat something today? Have you taken a breath? Have you stretched your body somehow, some way? Because I want you good and healthy when you come back and see me again. So thank you all, and until next time, with more lights.